What's happening, everyone? This is John Pallister here with Win the Day Disc Golf, coming back at you guys. Officially a member of the new Team Underground for the 2018 going into 2019 season, and just really happy to represent a great company in Discraft. And without further ado, I'm going to show you guys what's in my bag going into the end of this season, transitioning into the beginning of next season. I think everything's pretty set for right now. If anything new comes out, I might make some changes, but for now my bag is set, and we'll go into the putters first. Right now I've been digging the Pro D Challenger. I've been using these since the end of last year, and they just have a really nice feel in the hand. One is my main putter. I put a little M on the top, and this is just for putting everything inside and outside the circle. And then I have one with a B on it. This is backup, just in case something happens to this one. The one I mark with the B, I also like to throw for nice little touch-up shots for backhand. Just straight, a little bit of stability, but not too much. They're pretty worn in. I usually cycle through them every 2 to 3 months because they get beat in. So that's what I'm using for just putting. And a couple throwing putters here. I have 3, all different molds. We'll keep going with the Challenger theme. This is a little bit different than the normal Challenger. This is the Challenger SS. I don't know if you can see it in that light, but the Challenger SS is a little bit different than the normal Challengers. It does not have a bead. They start off beadless, and they're just really neutral out of the box. They'll hold any line. You can put it on an ante, it's going to hold hyzer, it's going to hold flat, it's just going to go dead straight. And I've had this one probably for 2 months now. It's still not that worn in, so I'm just using it pretty much for angle control, just hitting my lines clean, and once it breaks in, it'll be a nice little hyzer flip, get through the woods type of disc. Moving up in terms of stability for throwing putter, this is a newer disc that I've been trying out, and I'm really excited to throw it. This is the ESP Challenger OS. These are a little bit rare, pretty tough to find right now. I know you can find them on spinners on the green in Arizona, so if you don't have one of these, check them out. Really nice, just good stability, and super cool in this swirly ESP plastic. You definitely want to get your hands on one of these. They all look unique in their own way. So, but like I said, a little bit of stability. I could crank on this flat, know it's going to get a hard finish. I could throw it on nice little backhand flex shots, and I like using it for up shots and off the tee. And then for my beef overstable upshot, my go-to upshot disc, this is my zone. I have a Z zone in the bag, just one. And it's my do everything utility. Probably anywhere from 250 and in, I'm using this for sidearm and backhand approaches, into the wind, when there's no wind, if there's an open lane, check forehands, nice little flat to hyzer backhands, and it's just fantastic. You know what it's going to do every time, so not too much else I could say about it, just fantastic. If you don't have a zone, get your hands on one. So yeah, going into mid-ranges now. Got quite a few mid-ranges in my bag, so it's going to take me a little bit. We'll start with the mid-range I have the most of in my bag, and that would be the Buzz. I have a couple different varieties of Buzzes for different types of shots. We'll start with my flippiest. This is very new to my bag, very beautiful disc. I got this at Delwood Disc Golf, and this is an ESP Buzz SS. Cool little swirl on the front and back. Feels super nice in the hand. All Buzzes for the most part beadless, and they're just great. This one in particular is my flippy one. I like using it for hyzer flips that are going to turn, hyzer flip for straight, depending on the amount of power I give it. And I like using this also for utility type shot. If I'm pinched on the left side of a fairway and I need to throw like a forehand ante, get out of trouble type shot, this is the disc I go to. This one, most discs I carry a max weight. For some reason I got this in a 175, 176, so a little bit lighter weight, and started off a little bit flippier out of the box. Next up would just be my go-to. This is my pig stamped Crystal Buzz. And this, ever since I've had my hands on it, it's just been fantastic. Almost like a big brother to my Challenger SS. It's just angle control with this disc, and probably goes 50 to 100 feet further than my Challengers. So if I need a longer, straighter shot, I'll go to this disc, and it's really good in the woods and very flexy in this crystal plastic. So if you could get your hands on one of these, try to snag one. And then a newer buzz that I've thrown in, I'm not sure, this is almost like a hybrid between a crystal and a Z plastic. Feels more like Z, it's a little bit stiffer, but somebody told me it's crystal. This is the Rumble Edition buzz from earlier this year, and it's just the last buzz with a little added stability. So if I need that long straight shot with a little bit of fade, this is the one I go to. Shout out Dan Fairhurst for this one. Congrats on your wedding, by the way, dude. Awesome stuff. The last normal buzz mold I have in my bag, this is my Glow Buzz. This was my first Discraft Ace disc. I can't remember what course it was, but Dan Schlitter and Tom Earhart were there, so they know this ace and they know this disc. This is a good one. Got this from Dan Schlitter actually, and it started off really stable for a buzz, and it's really nice. I could use it for backhand and forehand. It's a little bit stiffer in this Glow plastic. I'm not sure which year this came out, but I know Scott Pittner from all the iOSs in Illinois has a good amount of these runs, so get your hands on one. Really nice for forehands. They pop up straight with a little bit of fade, and for backhand you could crank on this, know it's going to hold long and straight, get a more harsh fade than that last buzz I just showed you. So if you need a beef buzz, get yourself a Buzz OS. This is almost a kind of a big brother to my zone, not quite. I don't go to it for flick approaches as much, more for backhand overstable approaches where I need a little more distance than the zone. I'll go to this, and just windy shots that I want to go straight with some fade, or just tighter hyzers that I'm going to get a little bit of a skip, and sometimes forehands that are going to travel straight, get that little bit of fade, little bit extra distance, go to the Buzz OS. So that's it for buzzes, and then the oddball is my Wasp. This is just a slot in between these two, my Buzz OS and my stable buzz. I just really love the feel. It's a little bit different, it has a bead, whereas my buzzes don't. So super nice feel, and just consistent flight. Let it go straight, get a solid fade every time into a mild wind. And I like using this for flex shots. It's almost like a big brother to my ESP Challenger OS. So it's kind of just moving up the line in terms of speed and stability for me. All right, so that's it for mid-ranges. I have a lot of fairway drivers, so bear with me here. I'll try to go through these a little bit quicker. We'll start with my Stalker. This is my Medusa Stalker. I actually had my girlfriend draw on this, Alyssa. Really unique design, and really nice flying disc. I transitioned. I used to throw a lot of Innova Discmania plastic, and I made the switch last year to Discraft, and this is almost comparable to that of a Leopard 3 if you've tried one of those. This is really nice for a little bit of a hyzer flip to turning shot, and comes out occasionally. It's not a really common used disc in my bag, but if I need that tight wooded line, this is the disc I'll be pulling out. This is a fantastic fairway driver, old school, not too many people throw them anymore, but get your hands on one if you can. These are trackers, Z trackers, just super nice. This fly die I got is a little bit straighter out of the box. I get a long straight flight, a little bit of fade, and really good in the woods for tunnel shots where I need just a mellow fade. And its big brother right here is just this stock Z tracker. This actually is surprisingly stable. This is almost like a baby Predator, which I'll be showing you next. It's got great amount of stability. I could rip it hard and flat, know that it's going to travel straight and get a hard fade. Could throw it on flex shots, and just I could trust this into pretty heavy winds for a tracker. So really unique disc, but it's been a go-to since I've had my hands on it. And big brothers to the tracker before I get into the Predator are my Vultures. These are a little bit faster trackers in my opinion, and I carry two Vultures right now. I have a Big Z Test Flight Vulture that I got when they first released the Vulture, and I beat this in to be a little bit straighter now, get it to hold straight, a little turn to the right, and comes back at the end a little bit. And this big Z right here, just a little bit more stable out of the box. These Big Bird runs, just more stable, and I haven't really had a chance to try the ESP or the Sparkle Z, but the big Z's are what I've been throwing, and I've really been loving them ever since I've been trying them. So get your hand on some Vultures, they're awesome. All right, I said I was going to talk about the Predator. Here it is. This is from Brian Earhart. This came from his basement collection, and I'm lucky to have my hands on this. This is a super consistent fairway driver, longer version of my Buzz OS or Zone, and just really good stability. I could throw this hard, and if I think it's too breezy for some of my Vultures, if I think they're gonna flip, I can go to this, know that it's gonna finish hard left every time. I could throw it for cranked over flex shots, straight to hyzer, all hyzer, spike, just great disc. I don't really sidearm it too much, which brings in the machetes. The machetes are great for backhand and forehand. The Predator just has a little bit of a weird feel for sidearms for me. I don't go to it for sidearms as much, so I go to the machete. And this, in my opinion, is the best disc that Discraft makes. This has been my love since I've been throwing it. I used to be a big lover of Firebirds back when I used to throw Innova Discmania, and I was looking for the replacement when I made the transition, and this is it right here, the machete. The first one I had my hands on was this Z machete, and it's just beefcake. I could throw this for thumbers, for stable sidearms, spike hyzers, and just can trust it every time, and super nice feel in the hand. This right here, also got from Brian Earhart, Team Discraft. This is an ESP machete, and this one I really only go to for sidearm. It's not as stable as that last one, and it's a little lighter weight. I think it's about a 170, 172, and I could just rip it out flat, get a nice straight flight with a consistent fade to it for a forehand. So this is my really pretty looking forehand disc. All this new ESP swirly plastic is coming out great. You guys need to get your hands on this. There's some really nice looking discs. I think that's it. Nope. We got one more fairway driver, and it's the Undertaker. And this, if you're looking for a less stable version of a Vulture out of the box, it's the Undertaker. I like throwing this on nice little annies, hyzer flip to straight shots that are going to turn a little bit or go straight depending on how much power you give it. But pretty much a flippy Vulture out of the box. That's what I'm using that for. Going into distance drivers here, it's the bread and butter of my game. I love throwing far. I'm a power player, and these discs fit my strengths, and they're all a little bit different in stability, but I don't carry too many molds. I just have 3 molds. The mold I carry the most of would be the Force, and this was one of the big reasons why I made the switch over to Discraft, because it was tough finding consistent runs with other companies that were going to give me consistent results that I was looking for every time, since I throw really hard and I try to trust on stability a lot. So the Force was instantly a go-to for me. And we'll start with the most stable, just a stock Z Force. This one has a good amount of pop. I don't know if you could hear that, but just super consistent disc. And I like throwing it for long hyzer shots, flat to hyzer shots, long flexes, and I can push this disc about 450, and it's just gonna give me consistent results every time. If I'm looking to get a little added distance, I'll go to the Austin Turner Forces. These have a slight bit of dome, not as much as that last one, and they got a little LH. Shout out Bucas, you know who you are. These are special forces to me, and just super nice. This one, I call it my, I'm not gonna say pit, well, my pea-colored Force. Everybody else knows what I call it, but this one here, if I need a little bit more distance than that last Force, this will give me another extra 25 to 50 feet, and it holds up into the wind, also very nice. And then this Sparkle one here, I really only go to for stable forehands. Could rip it on flex shots, know it's going to come back, flat to hyzer forehands, and really consistent. The last force I have is just been amazing. This is the Big Z force. This is the force I go to for controlled max distance. If you pop it on a hyzer, it's going to flip, hold a long way, and finish at the end. I throw it, if I want to get the max distance out of a force, I'll go to this one here. And just super nice feel. The Big Z plastic, combination of the Z and ESP feel, in my opinion, it's their best feeling plastic that I've felt. So yeah, last two distance drivers I'm bagging, I have one nuke and one crank. The nuke, if I want more distance on a sidearm, this is the disc I go to. I throw that stable Sparkle Austin Turner force for controlled forehand. This I go to for distance forehands. I could rip it out on some hyzer, know it's gonna flip flat, get a little S turn and come out, and just, I can maximize the distance of my forehand with this disc. And just super nice feel with the wide rim. Get yourself a nuke too. I mean, all their drivers are fantastic and they fit everybody's strengths. So last driver I have is the crank, and this is my all-out max distance driver. I got this from Tommy Earhart, Brian's brother, and this is, you know, I feel bad taking this disc off his hands just because it's so money for distance. If I want to get almost 600 plus with distance, this is the one I go to. I can rip it out on a hyzer, know it's gonna flip, turn late, and get that late flex, that late finish, and it's just a phenomenal driver. If I lose this, I have a backup, but I really don't want to lose this disc for distance because it's just so great. And I'm not done yet. I got two more utility discs in my bag, along with my Mini. I'll give a quick shot to my Mini, my Zone Mini. Just looks exactly like my other Zone, but it's a Mini. And then I got the least stable disc in my bag and the most stable disc in my bag. The least stable is another fairway driver, almost in between a fairway and a distance driver, and this is my Avenger SS. And this is my distance roller disc. I only really use it for rollers, sometimes grenades. I could put it down flatter with a little angle, know it's gonna carry straight and finish right most of the time. And just really nice feeling out of the box, just a great roller disc. And then if I need absolute beef, if I need to throw into a 40-mile-an-hour headwind and trust that it's going to finish left every time for a backhand or right for a sidearm, I throw the Nuke OS in the ESP plastic. It's tough to see the stamp. It's got the little radioactive logos, but inside those logos, it's got little hearts, so it's a really cool stamp that they put on here, and just super consistent. And if you have a lot of power, or if you're looking to mash on a disc, get it really turned over and know it's going to come out, this is the disc for you. I really use this for spike hyzers and just shots, like I said, into the wind where I need to really trust it and just know that it's going to hook back in bounds or go over the water or whatever it needs to do. So Nuke OS. So that's it for the discs. In my bag, I got a cool little bag attachment here. I got these little lanyards that I had some of my campers make me over the summer, so these are really special to me. And I'm not done with the video quite yet. I got a box recently from the Discraft factory, just from getting on this underground team. They sent me an allotment with some new stuff, and I'm really excited to show you what I got. So I'm gonna go just right into it. The first thing I got, I kind of cheated and showed you something right away. It's my new crank shirt with the logo on the back. I don't know if you can catch that, but just really nice feeling shirt. It's in that dry fit material, feels super good, and I'm gonna be wearing this out on the course quite a bit. And then since winter's coming up, I needed to get a winter hat, so got this nice new hat. We got a sports sack. This is a must-have if you get sweaty hands like me in those really hot conditions, or if you're looking for consistent grip, get yourself a sports sack. Cool little Discraft logo on there again, gotta represent. Another Mini that might end up kicking out my Zone Mini eventually is my Big Z Nuke Mini. Got to blow up those chains, so might be switching that down the line. And then the new discs I got. You'll see that the new discs that I ordered in my allotment, I got based on the molds that I already have now, and some new stuff to try out, so we'll go right into it. I got another wasp. This one, unlike the last one I showed you, if I could find it on the ground, this wasp compared to this wasp, so the one I ordered, I didn't know what to expect. This purple one came out a little bit domier than the one I have right now. This one's a little flatter, so I'm assuming the one that's a little domier is going to give me added stability. So if I'm looking for a more stable type of wasp, I'll go to this one, or if anything ever happens to that other one, I'll be throwing this in the bag. This is a really cool disc that I've been looking to try out. This is the Nate Doss Tour Series Buzz, and I've heard these have great stability to them, so if anything happens to that glow buzz, or if I want to just break out and try a new stable buzz, I'll be trying this out. Really cool looking. It's got, I don't know if you could catch that with the reflection, but it's got nice little sparkles in it. Just super amazing looking disc, and feels great too. So got a backup to my glow nuke that I already have now. Again, just great feeling, and this will be a backup disc and sidearm disc. Backup machete here, looks a little different than the last one. Also got the really cool swirls in it with that same stamp. Just super nice swirly plastic. I can't say enough about it. Backup Undertaker looks exactly like the other one. Hopefully it flies like the other one. Backup putters. These got a cool little rainbow foil to them, and I'll be breaking these out once those other putters get too broken in. So these will be the next ones down the line. Two new Z-Forces, and you know, you cycle through drivers quite a bit. I mean, there's always chance that you could lose discs in water, or you know, anything can happen with your drivers because you're throwing them further and you're not always going to see where they land. So these are some backup forces, and they feel super nice, and they got a little bit of that pop to them as well. So these, I'm assuming, are going to be nice and stable. And then a backup machete, and this one, unlike my other one here, which is actually very stiff. This one came out really stiff. I ordered this one off eBay. This one right here is a little bit softer, so I might actually get to throw it more. And this, I'm assuming, since it's softer, may not skip as much. So if anything happens to the other machete, or if I'm looking for something that's not going to skip as much, I might go to this one. So that's everything. Nope. I also got a scorecard. Got to keep score. Got to keep yourself honest while you're out there on the course, and it's always nice because, you know, you're not always gonna keep track of your own score. Other people are gonna keep track of your score during the round, but I always like to keep track of my own and just know where I'm at, know how I'm doing. So hopefully I'm gonna be writing a lot of twos on this thing. But yeah, that's my in the bag and in the box. Thanks, guys.